Bismillah walhamdulillah wa thana'u lillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. My respected brothers and sisters, indeed one of the ni'mas that we enjoy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our tongue. And as obvious, every ni'mah that we get from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and indeed most of them, come with a responsibility. And the responsibility that we have towards this ni'mah of the tongue is to mind what we are saying, to guard it, knowing that each and every word that we utter, each and every word that we mention, we will be held responsible for that particular word. There are angels that are always ready to record whatever thing that we say. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Qaf, ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد. There is no word that you utter, there is no word that you mention, except that there is these angels, Raqib and Atid, very ready to jot them down, very ready to put them in your book of records, very ready to, of course, write them down so that you will be accountable for those words in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in the hadith of Sahal ibn Sa'ad, he says sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, promising and telling the believers, man yadmanu li ma bayna lihiyayhi wa ma bayna rijlayhi admanu lahu al-jannah. Whoever will promise that he will protect, preserve, take guard of whichever is between his chins and between his legs, I will also promise him that he will have a guarantee of Jannah, meaning his tongue, his mouth, and his farj. And in the hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam was asked about things that will make many people enter Jahannam. Naam, سئل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن أكثر ما يدخل الناس النار. He was asked about things, deeds that will make many people enter Jahannam, and the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم said, and he mentioned two things. He said that famu wal farj, the mouth, what he mentions, what he speaks, what he says, and again his al-farj. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, he says in one of his words of wisdom, ma min shay'in ahaqqu bituli sijni min al-lisan. There is nothing in this world that requires a lot of guarding, a lot of imprisonment than the tongue. You preserve it, you guard it, you say nothing but which is right, nothing but which pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abi Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu says that he reports from the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that when Ibn Adam, the son of Adam, wakes up, all the parts of the body assemble and tries to talk to this a small part of the body, you know, the tongue. They tell him, ittaqillaha fina, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when it comes to our regard. You know, you are the one representing us, you are the one speaking on our behalf, you are the one who is in front, you know, you represent us. So fear Allah when it comes to us. فَإِنَّمَا نَحْنُ بِكَ, we are but your followers. فَإِنِ اسْتَقَمْتَ اسْتَقَمْنَا وَإِنْ اِعْوَجَجْتَ اِعْوَجَجْنَا. When you are straight, you know, when you follow the straight path, you know, do the right things, say the right things, you know, take us wisely and nicely, we will also be straight. But when you lean, you don't do what is required of you, you just speak without thinking, we will also follow the same. This is what the other parts of the body tell the tongue every morning to be very careful about them, to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about them, because the tongue represents them. You know, we will know you immediately you open your mouth. And the tongue speaks for what is in the heart. You know, you cannot know, you may know a person well when he speaks. If he speaks well, he says things that are good, you might judge and say, okay, this is a good fellow. But when what comes from his mouth, abuse, insults, you know, accusations, you might think twice about this particular person. Among the sins and evils that come with the tongue is al-kidb, lying. And the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam was mentioned to him certain sins. Can a believer do this? He said maybe. Can a believer do this? He said maybe. And when, you know, a kidb, lying was mentioned to him, he said no. A believer cannot lie. And another narration of Ibn Mas'ud, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, a long narration, he says, "Wa iyyakum wal kidb." Stay away from lying. Don't lie. فَإِنَّ الْكِذْبُ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْفُجُورِ. Because indeed lies leads to wrongdoings, al-fujur. وَإِنَّ الْفُجُورِ يَهْدِي إِلَى النَّارِ. And the sins, the fujur, leads a person to hell. وَمَا يَزَالُ الرَّجُلُ يَكْذِبُ وَيَتَحَرَّى الْكَذِبُ حَتَّى يُكْتَبُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ كَذَّابٌ. A person will not lie and have this sifa of lying until it's recorded within or to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that so and so, that fellow you see walking down there is nothing but a liar. So one of the sins of the tongue is lying. The second sin that comes with the tongue is an-namima wal ghiba. You know, backbiting and speaking ill of a brother when he's not there. And speaking about things that he hates to hear. Even if he has the same things, when you speak about those things when he's not there, then you have already backbited him, you know. But if you speak about things that the brother does not have, lying about the brother, you know, that is now you have oppressed him. You are, you know, doing what we call character assassination of this particular brother. And the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know, was very keen in trying to tell us on how to protect the character of a believer. In Hijjatul Wada', the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after mentioning a lot of things, he said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Inna dima'akum wa amwalukum wa a'radukum haramun alaykum ka hurmati yawmikum hadha." Indeed, your blood, killing people anyhowly without reason, and wa amwalukum, taking people's, wealth without their rida or, you know, conning. And he said, wa a'radukum, and also your dignity. You know, the dignity of a believer. He said, haramun alaykum, is so sacred to you. Don't mess with people's dignity. You don't character assassinate people. You know, this brother is this brother is this, and this is a lie. You know, even if it's brought to you that it is this way according to the brother, in ja'akum fasiqun binaba'in fatabayyanu. You know, you have to do your own research to know whether it's true or not before telling the other party. Sometimes you live with the brothers. Yesterday you were with them well, and the other day they've turned against you only because another person came and poisoned them about you, told them some things that are not true about you, and made them turn against you. Be very worried about, you know, the a'rad of the Muslim brothers. You know, you don't just character assassinate them. Deal with them nicely. Deal with them in a good way. The messenger says, your blood, your wealth, your dignity is sacred. The way this day is sacred, it was during the day of Arafah. And the way this house, you know, it was in Mecca, it's sacred. Same is the very way the dignity of a Muslim is also sacred. Another thing that comes from the tongue is shahada to zur, you know, giving false witness about something. You are told, can you say something about this brother? Or maybe some people are called in court and all that. Some are even ready to testify against the brother and they don't know the truth because maybe they have been given something little money or so. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. The messenger, when mentioning the three major sins, he said one of them is, al-ishraku billah, association with Allah, associating partners with Allah, wa uququl walidain, disobedience of the two parents, and wakana muttaki'an. When he mentioned these two, he was leaning somewhere. Then he sat well, fajalasa. He sat well, meaning the third thing that he wants to mention is so serious. Then he said, fajalasa faqala, ala wa qawlu zur, ala wa shahadatu zur. Beware of, saying something falsely or giving a false testimony. Brothers and sisters, it is better for you. You know, if you don't have anything good to say, it's better for you to keep quiet other than getting into a sin. Nobody has ever been harmed by keeping quiet. And the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions and says, whoever believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the day of judgment, فَلْيَقُلْ خَيْرًا أَوْ لِيَصْمُتْ. He should say whichever is good, or he should keep quiet. Say whatever is good. Use your tongue to mention adhkar, remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Use it in reading Quran. Use it in doing sulh and saying the truth. Don't gather sins with things that are wrong. Unless you want during the day of judgment that he will blame and start regretting, saying, Ma li hadha al-kitaba la yughadiru saghiratan. You know, what about this book that did not leave whichever is small or big except that it has written them all. أقول ما تسمعون سبحانك اللهم بحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. شكرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.